beauty and fashion photographer based in the UK. I've been shooting commercial and editorial work for about 9 years. Up until now, I have used Profoto mains-powered monolights, which have been great for studio environments, and I have recently started introducing the A1s into my setup. I've used portable on-camera flashes before, but when I got my hands on the A1, the main thing that struck me was the big, even, round spread of light. I was so impressed. Today I set myself the challenge to create an editorial consisting of 6 creative beauty setups in one day and with only 2 Profoto A1s. I organized a 6-look shoot combining the Spring/Summer 2018 trends and my love of everything floral. I came up with different light setups for each of these scenes, using a mix of modifiers to help me achieve a unique feel for each one. I experimented with different umbrellas, gels, diffusers and bonnets. I love how easy it is to interchange the modifiers. Some of them literally just snap onto a magnetic mount. Done. For me, a picture comes to life when there's nice catch lights in a model's eyes. It really helps the viewer to connect with an image. We discovered so many exciting locations and props on the day, and due to the small size and portability of the A1, I was able to move around and change sets super easily. One thing that always throws me off shooting outdoors is rapidly changing light conditions. Being able to control the A1 by air remote makes changes quick and pain-free. Another thing I didn't have to worry about all day was the battery. After 8 hours of shooting, the battery life seemed hardly touched. Using 2 A1s rather than just one enabled me to work with the conditions that were already there while putting my own creative lighting style into these images. It was such a nice feeling that we could just hop from location to location and include some London landmarks and not have to worry about carrying big light heads or even stands. Today went amazing. The pictures straight out of camera were even better than I could have imagined. I'm really excited about these images and I can't wait to show them to the team.
Hello and welcome to Academy Live episode 13. It's me, Anders Hanola, and not David, Ken. It's actually Ken and I who will host today's Academy Live. David is unfortunately not here today. He is out shooting for a customer, so he could not be here today. It's one of these customers that insist on having really good light on their pictures, so there's of course only one option, and that would be David. We'll do our utmost to make sure that he's not missed, me and Ken. We're gonna run around a little bit here, and I'll be alone in switching and trying to catch up on the comments and so forth. So bear with me. We'll do our best to make it look good and not too much of interruption in here. I thought that today's topic would be how to create sunlight. And what do I mean with that? Well, first of all, most of our flashes are daylight balanced. That means the temperature is balanced at around 5,500, 5,600 in that ballpark. And that's what the sun normally has around midday. The sun has different temperatures in different hours. You have the golden hour, you have the blue hours, you have all these different times during the day when you have different lights, and that's where you can use different correction gels like orange colored gels or blue colored gels to match that light. There are also differences in different parts of the world on where the color of the sun actually changes a little bit, so you have to be a little bit aware of that. But we'll imagine Santorini type of sunlight, and we're going to have a little bit of a competition here between we have 4 contestants standing over there, and we'll walk over. I'll grab a camera and we'll walk over and say hi to the contestants, and we'll see which one of them actually is the best in creating sunlight. We'll finish off with a shoot where I'm going to use the Duo kit and the Grid kit and try to recreate something that the sun would normally do in a room. The competition is a little bit extreme, of course, as competitions are supposed to be, but it is also a setup that is used quite a lot for fashion, where you have white background, really bright light, sharp shadows, so kind of hard light, and so that's the competition is going to be which one of the 4 contestants is the best for that. So we have that going on, but at the end we'll do the shoot with Ken had to be the model, and we'll try to create kind of like a window light coming in from one side. It could be maybe a cellar. We could put it in a cellar, that's interesting, and lift up the light pretty high so it looks like you have this cellar window up there, and as for a background, and then we'll put a little bit of light on Ken, and we'll see how that goes. So it will be interesting because I'll be running back and forth here between the switcher here where I change the cameras. We have the shooting area and so forth, so maybe we should look at the arena. This is the shooting area. This is where we'll place Ken. I have 2 A1s, as you can see, on stands there, and both of them have grids on them. One 10-degree grid and the other one has the 20-degree grid on it. So those are the 2 ones that we'll use towards the end. But let's then switch over. I have a mobile camera right in front of me, so I'll be using that one. And I'll walk around a little bit, and then I'll put you guys down and switch over to Capture One and so forth. So we'll look at what's actually going to happen. So do we have any comments here? A lot of hellos. Sound is great, perfect. That always makes me happy. Awesome. A lot of questions about hints about next week. I have no idea. If I had, I wish I could tell you guys something, but I have an idea of what's going to happen this week here, right now. We're going to have a competition about who can create the best sunlight. And what would be a typical sunlight? Well, for me, it would be a bright white wall, shadow, and hopefully, probably, pretty sharp shadow. So let's take a walk and take a look at the contestants, maybe. I'll go and grab the camera and we'll take a look at the arena. Here we go. So let's see. This is the Profoto Studio. We have shooting area here. We'll see what's going on here. Camera connected over to Capture One, and we'll place Ken against this wall, and then about 8 meters away we have the 4 contestants, and contestant number 1 is a B1 with a silver medium deep umbrella. And what it does, basically, it collects all the photons and is pretty darn good at focusing them straight forward. So we'll see how it goes for contestant number 1, B1 with a deep silver medium umbrella. Contestant number 2, squeezed in here, is actually also a B1. It has a OCF Magnum reflector on it. For those of you who have not worked with these OCF Magnum reflectors, I can tell you they are pretty darn awesome. They are also optimized for all the flat front flashes like the B1X, B1, B2, D1, D2. It works really, really good with that. And then you have all this here is optimized to really kind of take over from the reflector inside here and then continue collecting all the photons, and with all these small mirrors is shooting out power here. And it gives you about a 2x. So if you do the full blast on the B1, from 500 it will go up to 1000 and to 2000 watt seconds, or equal. It doesn't get more power, it's just that it collects all the photons that would go towards the side and fire them straight forward. So that's contestant number 2. Contestant number 3 is a classical Magnum reflector on a Pro head. And the Pro head is connected to a Pro 10. And this is a beast for a flash. It's absolutely one of my favorites, and it's fast recycling, short flash duration, and all the good things that you would like to have in a flash. So, we'll compare the Pro head with the traditional Magnum versus this Magnum. This is contestant number 3. Some interesting facts about the Magnum here is that all these little dimples here are actually handmade, or there's someone sitting there by hand just hammering in each and every one of them. So, and they will create all these funky little mirrors that also takes all the power and boom, fires it towards straight forward. This one's really good for extruding light bulb flash heads like this guy here. It has an extruding head, so the flash bulb is here. And that's also why this one is a bit flat here, and then it kind of curves up and collects everything and shoots it straight forward. If you use this one, the traditional Magnum with a flat front, like this one, then you actually get a little bit of a dark ring around here, and then this part here will actually be lit up and shoot. So you'll get like 2 different light sources. So that's why it's better to use the OCF one if you have a flat front, and the traditional Magnum if you have a Pro head. And then we have a funny one here. This is actually one of my absolute favorites. This is a Profoto hardbox. It's not the most common modifier, and it's kind of interesting because if we look in here, it's just all black. And what I've done, let's see, let's take it off so you guys can see. We do this. This is the Pro head, and I've tilted it straight up. So instead of pointing it towards the wall, I'm actually firing it straight up. And here, as you can see, you have the flash bulb, and this will be the light source, only the flash bulb. I've also replaced the dome that you see here. It's a clear dome versus the regular is a frosted dome. So here is a clear dome, and that's to make sure that the flash bulb is the only thing that will be the light source. If you want to play around with this, never ever do this without the clear dome, please, because every now and then these guys actually do pop and break, and then you get glass shatter everywhere, and that doesn't make anyone happy. So a beast, hardbox. That's contestant number 4, and that's also connected to the Pro 10. So why don't we get started? I'm going to place this guy down here so that I can move around, and we'll probably aim it somewhere like this. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to run back and forth a little bit and do a manual turn on one flash by one at a time to make sure that there is no cheating going on, no steroids. We've taken a anabolic or parabolic test on these ones, so there's no parabolic steroids on any one of them. Maybe a little bit on the umbrella is a little bit suspicious though, because it's pretty deep, but nothing else fishy going on. So let's switch over to this guy over here, and we'll grab Ken, and then I'll come in picture again. Hello. So we'll put this guy here like that, maybe a little bit of twist like so. There we go. So now I'm going to take pictures with this camera. I'm going to change over to Capture One, but I'm going to turn on contestant number 1, which is the B1 with the deep silver umbrella. Here we go. And everything is on. Fire. Let's see. So I'll go and switch over you guys to this guy. Now you can see Capture One. Now you see hopefully what I see on this one here. So umbrella, it looks kind of sunny. We can probably pop up the exposure a little bit to get the whiteness there. And oh, I've cropped the image. That's not necessary. So we'll do a little uncropping here. I wanted to pop in to see the shadows properly. There we go. So this is contestant number 1 in the Santorini look, and looking at the shadows, if we take this little viewer thingy here, let's see, it's not, oh there we go. As you can see, there is a little bit of penumbra going on all around them, but they are equally thick in horizontally and vertically. That's because, of course, the umbrella is round, so it will create the same amount of penumbra in all directions. So that was contestant number 1. Let's then go over and turn off this guy. And now we turn on contestant number 2, which is the B1 with a OCF Magnum. And then we'll see what happens. Oh, that looks a bit hot. We'll tune it down a little bit. There we go. So here we got the OCF Magnum with the B1. Now you can see a huge difference in the shadows here. It's much tighter. Very, very good shadows. There's not much double shadows here going on. So it's actually a pretty good entrance for contestant number 2, the B1 with the OCF Magnum. And if we go back and look at this guy, we have the silver umbrella, and you see there is a little bit of penumbra going on here. So far the OCF Magnum with the B1 is in the lead, and we'll now go over and switch over to the Pro Head. I'm just going to check that you are seeing what I'm seeing. Yes, you are. Cool. Any comments here that we need to react on? We got a lot of people here. Some questions about, can I look at this video later on? Yes, that's possible. These videos are here in both on the Profoto's Facebook page and also on YouTube. We put them on there so you can actually watch it afterwards. Question about where do we get the head to training? David Bischoff is actually creating these heads, and hopefully he'll have more of them done, so you can go to bischoff.se and you'll find information about the head there, because Ken is good fun to play around with. So now I'm turning on the next flash. We got a Pro generator with a Pro head and the regular good old Magnum, and then we fire away. Boom. And then we wait. Here we go. So here we see the shadows. Let's see now. There's a little bit of penumbra going on. Actually, if you look at here and down on the light stand, there's actually quite a lot of penumbra. So I'm not sure if it beats. No, it doesn't. The B1 with the OCF Magnum beats the Pro head with the regular Magnum. As you can see, there's a little bit of penumbra, not really knife sharp shadow edges, which I would like to see. So let's go over to contestant number 4, which is the good old friend, the Pro head with a hard box on it. So I'm going to turn off one head and turn the other one on. This one has actually the sweetest sound ever. It has this really dark popping sound. So I'm not sure if you can hear it when I shoot, but we'll give it a try. Bop. This is awesome. Let's see if I haven't really checked all the power levels, but that looks okay. Good. And here we go. Look at this. These are really sharp. All these edges here. In any direction. I actually accidentally looked into the light source, so now I'm kind of blinded. But anyway. So that's the Pro head with the hard box, which is really the beast. This is the one where it's only the light bulb that becomes the light source, because everything else, all the light going in any other direction, is absorbed by the black surface on the inside of the hard box. So it's only the light bulb which is a really, really small one. Okay, that's cool. So let's give those guys a rest and jump back into the seat and take a look at what we have here. So let's take a look and analyze the pictures a little bit. So this one is the B1 with silver medium umbrella, and as we can see, quite a lot of penumbra going on here, not really sharp around the edges. So I would say that's a no-go for the B1 with silver medium umbrella. But on the other hand, it looks kind of nice, still nice white walls, etc. And here we have the B1 with the OCF Magnum reflector, good sharp edges, and compared to the Pro head, it's pretty similar. I think it's pretty much a tie between these two. When you go in really in deep, there's slightly more penumbra on the Pro head with Magnum because it's slightly bigger. But here is the winner, the Pro head with the hard box, because there you get really sharp edges, and which is something that the sun creates as well. And so if you want to create really sharp edges on the shadows, then you would go with the hard box and rent a generator and a Pro Head, and you rent the hard box. You can rent those in most rental places and play around. And just imagine this: if you have someone, you have someone leaning against the white wall and with sunglasses and all these, then you can really create this cool Santorini type of look where they're leaning towards and the wall and looking really cool. So that's cool, Pro Head. But on the other hand, I would say that a good number 2 is actually the B1 with the OCF Magnum. It gives you a lot of power, so you can fire away, and it also gives you sharp enough edges for you to actually recreate the Santorini type of look. We should try your big softbox. Yeah, that would be a total loser. That's completely right. And then, here's a good question. Can you use the hard box on D1, B2, and A1 from Åsa here? But no, that's not. You cannot do that. And that's mainly because the flash tube is not extruding. Since it's a flat front and you have the flash underneath with a little bit of because it has a built-in modifier. You have a reflector, a 77-degree reflector underneath the frosted glass. So it would basically just shoot up light into the black area, and all the light would just die. There's nothing coming out of it. And so therefore you need to have an extruding light bulb for it to work, because the light bulb, it's actually what becomes it becomes like almost like small, like a finger, becomes the light source. So it's really small. Worth mentioning, Anders, that the hard box is so sharp because the flash tube is being used side on. Yeah, exactly. So actually, let's go, and Andy is pointing out a really good thing. So let's go and take a look at that. And since we have this mobile camera, let's walk over. Here is the boom. So we take down the hard box, and normally a Pro Head is angled like this. So that's normally what you do. But if we look here straight forward, you see the light bulb is created like a horseshoe. And that's really not a big light source. It's a big round light source. So it's not as small as it can be. It's actually pretty big, almost like most of my thumb, I would say. But if you tilt it open up like this, then it becomes smaller. But there's always a but. If it's important to know in which direction you point this. There's a little handle over here, so this one should be pointing towards what you're shooting. So why is that, you may ask? As you can see here, this is where the flash bulb ends and starts. And you actually have a gap here, and that will create 2 different light sources. 2 small light sources, and you will get a double shadow from that. But if you turn it around, boom, and we look at this here, now this little part here is what actually becomes the light source. Only this. And that's why it's so cool. So you need to point it upwards like this, and then you pop on the hard box like this. And if now we see in here, it's dark, but I think you can see it. You see the light bulb right there. If I would put something like this, or let's take the umbrella one. It's easier to remove. Boop. And we tilt it up like this. As you can see, there's absolutely nothing extruding here. And so this is completely flat. And that's why you cannot use it in a hard box. So you need a little bit of light bulb action going on over here. But so that was that. Hardbox wins, and then I would say that number 2 is the B1 with the OCF Magnum. But now let's move over here and create something that the nature creates. And here will be a little bit creative. What's going on here? Let's get the camera in here. And we'll move over to this area. So here I'm actually gonna move the flash. I'm gonna use one flash to create a window light, and I might as well go over there. It's probably easier. Here we go. Hello. I'm gonna use this one here as a window light. I put the 20-degree grid on it, and I'm gonna pop it open up here as far up as I can. And before you do that, it's always good to turn them on. There we go. A lot easier. I'm tall, but not that tall. So it's way up there, shooting downwards. So let's take a picture and see what happens. Maybe we should move Ken somewhere like this, maybe. You okay with that? Yeah, he's okay. So now I'm going to take one picture with only the window light. You don't see that because I need to do this. Boom. So here you see now what I've done. I'm using an A1 with the 20 degrees grid, and that's basically just going that straight down towards the wall and creating this kind of nice light that you would think that, oh, okay, there's a window on the right side of the picture. And as David always says, always start from the back and then work towards the camera. So now we have put a nice kind of creepy backlight here, or background. We created a background with a window light. And then we come back to, okay, so with motivated light, what do we do? Well, we should, as always, do we have a connection? Yes, we do. And then we turn this one on. I aimed it to create a short light on Ken, and I have the 20-degree grid on. There we go. Now you can see what we have created here. So now you see we have the window light coming in here from the right-hand side, and then we put a light on Ken, creating a nice little short light. We have a pretty high contrast on the shadows, both here and over here. And that's mainly since we are gridding all the lights, and therefore it's not creating more light sources in the room to kind of lighten up the shadows. So this is now in a creepy little cellar with a window here on the right side, and that also motivates why the light is coming from this direction on Ken. And that's one way of working with two A1s and a grid kit. I'm going to jump back here. And that's really an easy way to create something fancy. I tried this earlier, and I had one of my colleagues here at Profoto, whose name is Emmanuel, and he is one of the engineers who's testing a lot of things, doing all this twist and bending and so forth to make sure that the products are durable. And I did exactly the thing, but it's mirrored, so if we look at that picture, it looks like this. I did it instead of from coming in from the right, the light is coming in from the left, and you can see here that you also have a good light on him. Nice, evenly spread distribution of light for his body. I used more or less the same distances as I had here right now. So that's the picture that we did right now, right here. Very, very simple setup. It's almost too simple. 2 light stands. I'm using the Manfrotto Nano light stands. They're really lightweight, easy to carry with you. But that's one cool way of creating a nice portrait environment. You can also, of course, let in more ambient light by opening up your or using the ISO and going up a little bit and not having the picture so gloomy and dark as I have right now. And that would, but you can still create the illusion of sunlight coming in with the A1. And if you use the ISO, you can open up and then you get the walls not so dark and the shadows not so dark as I have here. Also, as mentioned, asking if we use the gel on the back A1, that can absolutely be done. If you now this is a quick and dirty version of it. You can play around with a quarter CTO with the orange, a quarter orange gel, or half an orange. Then you could have it more warmer. But I would probably recommend you, as you do that, also warm up the main light, because you cannot have the background kind of warm, orangey, nice warm golden hour type of color, and then have the picture or the main light being all daylight, like full blue noon o'clock bluish color. So put CTOs on both if you would do that. And so that's one way of doing it. And if we don't have any other questions, time flies, it's 40 minutes already. That's about what we had for today's live. To sum it all up, we had creating sunlight, a Santorini type of look, contestants with different light modifiers. If you are running with flat fronts, I would recommend you to use the OCF Magnum. It gives you plenty of power, and also it gives you small enough light source to create hard shadows and sharp shadow edges with very little penumbra. If you can, and if you want to go into a studio and you have you really want to go upscale, rent a Pro 10 and a Pro Head with the hard box, because then you get really knife sharp shadow edges. Tilt it up and then fire away. It's a lot of fun, I can tell you, and you love the sound of the pop in the hard box. And I haven't seen a lot of questions coming on here, so that's either it's been probably clear as mud, everybody's completely confused, or people understand, which would be great, because we want you guys to be out there and create sunlight. And it's not only about creating sunlight, also create stuff that you see nature doing. If it's creating a window, light, and so forth, take a picture of it with your iPhone, fire them over to me or David, and we'll help you and guide you on kind of how to create certain effects. And there are a lot of cool things that nature does. And we like what nature does, because then it makes the pictures look very, very natural. So go and play and have fun, copy stuff that the sun is doing, and create fantastic images, and make sure you have great light in every image. And hopefully you had some good tips here, and if you have any further questions, pop them into the comments below, and we'll respond to them, and we'll answer, and we'll hopefully answer them as good as we can. Okay, with that, we'll do a short video with some fantastic images. If you've been with us before, you've seen it before, but I never get sick and tired of this one. This is a fantastic video. You see how cool light really can be. Until next Wednesday. Oh, that's cool. Now I remembered. Next Wednesday, we're not going to be here. Me and David, we are going to be on the other side of the world in a very, very cool, exciting location. Can't tell you too much about it right now, but we'll be far, far, far away, and we will do a presentation that has never been done before with tons of cool stuff, and I'll record it and we'll make sure that we can fire it off here on the Wednesday at 5 o'clock European time. I'll do my best to kind of time it to make sure that we get the good timing on it, and you'll get to see more of David's fantastic knowledge and cool creative thoughts and a lot of learning, hopefully. Cinematic sunlight. Now I'm a little bit unclear with what cinematic sunlight is. I'll engage with you at 10 May and to understand it better. Me and David, we have looked at tons of Netflix series and so forth, and we'll try to capture all the different types of lights that people are using. They're using quite a lot, often the sunlight coming in, so you can see it. It looks like a window, for example, and then with some gels on them to make them slightly warmer. Now we're using them just bare with no CTOs and so forth. So you can make them a little bit more warmer, and you'll get this nice early day or late day sunlight. So anyway, thank you everybody, and until next Wednesday. And don't miss next Wednesday, it's going to be awesome. I promise you that. Bye.